Massachusetts State Police. I see Watertown Police.
Yes, they're reporting. It looks like they're going to say that they got either captured or killed the second terrorist of the two brothers. They're saying now they heard gunshots and the ambulance were flying by and the police are all over there. So basically, I would be shocked if they say that that he's alive. I would be really shocked if they say he's alive, even if he is. I have a feeling the first one they captured, I have a feeling that they have him alive and well. I watched them walk him to the car naked and put him in the car under his own free will. He walked. Now I hear there's pictures circulating the internet of his blown up body they released or something, but you know how that goes. I mean, we had Osama bin Laden pictures and Saddam Hussein pictures of them dead before they ever were. So, my biggest thing, like I said, is don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. But I watched this guy laying on the ground like everybody else has seen. But I also saw the live feed when this guy was walked to his car naked, or walked to the police car naked and put into the car. So that right there tells me something's very suspicious here. I mean, I watched this guy walk in his own free will. He wasn't shot, he wasn't blown up, he wasn't run over, he wasn't anything. I mean, sorry, you got run over by an SUV, I think you'd be in a lot more physical, you know, pain or something than that, and or whatever. So basically what I'm saying here is I don't believe any of this. Our government could be doing it for two different reasons. They could be doing it because they want to avoid the Geneva Convention and a trial and be able to torture him freely for information. That's the bad side. The other side is they could want to keep it quiet that they have them in custody alive because they're getting them to roll on their higher-ups, whoever trained them and taught them or put this whole thing together. Maybe they believe these two didn't think on their own and there's a Muslim cleric or something, a terrorist, you know, that taught them or something. And they want to know who that is and be able to go after them. I got a report that there's some a cabin in Massachusetts in the mountainous area or whatever that was raided. I guess that was coming in off of the CBs, the radios or whatever, that the police had raided a cabin and removed 3 people today. So I mean, like I said, that's unsubstantiated. This is just stuff going into a call-in radio show where several people have reported it to a radio show. I don't really know. I don't really believe it until I've seen some more facts about it. But hey, I wouldn't put it past our government to be doing that and possibly cleaning up a terrorist cell that these two were a part of. But the bigger thing to me, the bigger question and issue here is, my worry is that if we allow our government, even though it's said to be in our best interests, to do things like this, what's going to stop them from doing it to us? Yeah, that's pretty much where I come off from. You know, if they were doing it so they could torture them, well, you know, then hey, I got real issue with that. And you know, I'm pretty sure that, you know, if we let them do that, they know who's quiet, who's not, and that, you know, they'll be able to build a line of people they can use for this kind of tactic, and then who's to stop them from using it against our protesters and our civic leaders and, you know, leaders of people and everything? Who's to stop them from coming after you and me? So I don't believe in it for that fact. Doing it to keep things quiet while they go and, you know, bust the rest of the terrorist cell, that's normal police work. I understand it. They should release later. Another big thing is, now that they've said they're dead, they lose credibility if they say later they're alive. But here's one of the problems that comes from that. What if we're working deals with these guys and agreeing to release them if they turn over everybody else? Or you know, if they're dead, if everybody believes they're dead, what's going to stop us from killing them after we get all the info we want and bust the rest of the cell? What's to stop our government from imprisoning these guys and treating them horrible for the rest of their lives? You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. A lot of people feel the terrorists should be, you know, have their fingernails ripped out daily and, you know, knives stuck up their ass on a daily basis. You know, that's your feelings. But at the same time, our country doesn't believe in torture, and that would be torture. You know, um, my fear isn't really what they're doing to them. As a matter of fact, if they are guilty, my fear isn't about what they're doing to them. My fear is, by letting them do that to them, what are they going to do to us in the future? What happens if they take away our gun rights and they make it so we can't own guns? Then what happens? Our government gets a little too big for its britches and decides that it, has a little more, clout than it really should, and decides to come and start busting our heads and making us disappear. Already they're doing things that are way against our rights. I mean, we have public protests, which we have a right to peacefully assemble, but then law enforcement's being ordered to go in and crack our heads and remove us. See, this is our system, and if we allow this to keep going on, I mean, we look back at the 60s, all through the 70s and 80s and stuff, and said, oh, that was horrible, we'll never let it happen again, what they did to the protesters, and, all this stuff, and, we've just been allowing them to do the same thing to the Occupy movement, which has been going on in our country. Allowing them to come in, and, it's gotten to the point where we've had to have our off-duty military has had to step in and guard our protesters to keep law enforcement away. Yeah, I saw that. Some militias out and off-duty guardsmen and everything had come in with their AR-15s and stood guard over our protesters so that law enforcement couldn't go in, the frontline fingertips of the government, and beat up our citizens and remove them, arrest them, club them, mace them. I mean, we've seen all the videos of the law enforcement having the protesters lined up, handcuffed, sitting there, and then spraying them with mace right in their face. And then nobody ever goes to jail for this. None of these cops ever end up in trouble for this stuff. And I'm sorry, I know there's good cops out there, but you know what? A lot of you, just because your boss says it's okay, you'll go and do it. And because, the boys in blue thing and you get away with, no, it shouldn't happen. There should be oversight here. Internal affairs is bullshit. It's just bullshit. We need a separate entity altogether to police our police. And they should be accountable for things like this. When you walk up to a handcuffed person on a sidewalk and you kick them in the face, you should be in prison. You shouldn't be a cop. But yet, you're allowed to be a cop, and you're just as bad as the person you're arresting, or worse, by taking your authority and using it like that. And I've witnessed this stuff personally. I've videotaped something just like this that happened here in Florida with a tasering event that never should have been tasered. And law enforcement let them get away with it. I watched another video right in the same place I filmed mine of the same cops kicking a guy in the face and punching him and everything, and he's handcuffed on the ground, and they got away with it again. So this is stuff you got to realize. You can't allow this stuff to happen. Even if they say it's in our best interests, you know what? Hitler said it was in Germany's best interest. Stalin said it was in Russia's best interest. Pol Pot said it was in Cambodia's best interest. Hello? Everything that is said to be in our best interest is what has caused what has happened in our world. Some of the worst atrocities in history happened because of our best interests. Remember that. So I hope you guys learned something here. You can make your comments. Some people aren't going to agree with me. Some people will. I hope you make comments. Make your own videos. Ask these questions. Wake up, America. You need to.